Alright guys, welcome back to the segment. So a very quick video for this minute. One ex-international of the Nigerian Super Eagles is actually a very popular man. SOJDE, Efe SOJDE, has now given an advice to the Super Eagles on how they can actually get the results from Victor Boniface, how they can get him to start firing on all cylinders, start getting the goals, start finding his ground in the Nigerian Super Eagles shirts. Of course, Victor Boniface hasn't really hit the ground running playing for Nigerian Super Eagles. In all his six or seven appearances, he hasn't been able to score any goal. And the recent games that we played out this September, he featured heavily, starting both games and playing meaningful minutes for these two games, but was unable to get a goal, even though quite frankly he did well in especially the second leg against Rwanda. I felt he really did well. Had a couple of chances that he almost scored, but the fact still remains that he still hasn't scored a goal for Nigeria. But immediately he left the Nigerian Super Eagles camp and went back to Leverkusen. He started scoring goals, against Hoffenheim. Immediately he returned, he scored 2 goals, created 1 assist. And then fast forward to their game this weekend, he was the man that got all 3 points for Bayern Leverkusen as they played a very difficult game against Wolfsburg. That game actually ended 4-3. Boniface actually came in as a sub to win that game in the 90+ minutes. So of course this has brought about questions about how effectively should Boniface be used in the national team for him to start getting goals, just the way we see him get goals for Leverkusen. And because of this issue, Efe SOJDE has now suggested that that the Super Eagles needs to change its pattern, its tactics to suit Victor Boniface. That his issue of consistency is not in the fact that Victor Boniface is not a good player or that he cannot play for Nigerian Super Eagles, but on the fact that the formation or the pattern that we are playing in the national team is not the kind of pattern that Boniface would thrive under. So he's saying that the team needs to change their philosophy, their pattern, to make sure that they play in a style or in a shape that Boniface can really function well. And the suggestion is actually that if there's a way to create a system whereby Boniface can be playing alongside Victor Osimhen, probably in a front three where Victor Osimhen is the number 9. Maybe Boniface comes from the 11, and then Lookman as well coming from maybe 7 or so. So this is the advice from SOJDE. Again, if you look at the formation that Xabi Alonso is currently playing with Bayern Leverkusen, you'd see that he would usually use Boniface as the striker, as the main striker. And frankly, it's a bit like the formation that we used in our last 2 games. Austin Wavon actually deployed the 3-4-3 formation. It's kind of similar to what Xabi Alonso is using with Bayern Leverkusen, 3-4-2-1 formation. But I guess the bigger difference here is the amount of freedom that Xabi Alonso is allowing Boniface, to enjoy in their match. But with the Super Eagles, he doesn't have that much freedom to express himself, coming in from the flank and all of that. Lookman always stays from the left flank, and then maybe CHUKWUEZE or someone else from the right flank, and then we see Victor Boniface only occupying that central row position. But for SOJDE, this needs to change. Guavon needs to find a combination to get Victor Boniface to start to click, to start scoring goals. But again, that leaves us with the question: do you think it's worth it to try and change the formation of the Super Eagles just so that it suits one man, in the team? And moving on beyond that one, Samuel Chukwueze is actually considering a January move away from AC Milan. Of course, it's for the obvious reason he's not getting a lot of playing times at the club, even though he impressed very well in preseason. Started really well, scored a couple of goals in the preseason, came up strong during the first 1-2 matches of the season, but they were not getting the results, and the coach decided to start putting him in the bench to go back to like how it was from last season when Christian Pulisic was always favored ahead of him. But I mean, you cannot blame the coach because Pulisic is obviously in form right now, scoring the goals for AC Milan, even though they are struggling as a team. But Chukwueze seems to want more playing time, and the report is that he's constantly seeking for a way out right now. And a certain Saudi Arabian club by the name Al Ali reportedly keeping close tabs on the 25 years old, and they could potentially swoop in to make a strong bid for him. But the report is also that he might end up going on a season-long loan this January and get some playing time and maybe return, or the potential to make that deal permanent. But it still depends on Samuel Chukwueze and what he wants to do, with his future. And to wrap the update, let me inform you that Nigeria's Bigos talented defender OLISA NDAH actually won the Man of the Match award in Orlando Pirates Tuesday 3-0 victory over Polokwane City in their PSL league. Sorry, and it was a match that he impressed really well as usual. He's always been fantastic with this Orlando Pirates side, and he showed up again this midweek, playing for 84 minutes total and running wild, keeping clean sheets, stabilizing their defense, doing all sorts of magnificent work in the back line there. But we are not surprised, of course. We know that's the kinds of things that he does, on a weekly basis when he's called to play. And personally, I look forward to seeing him being called back into the squad for these October games. But that is the update for now. Don't forget to react to the stories, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned.